Here we are at question one of the final section of Prep Test 158, section 4, the third logical reasoning section. As we begin, we're going to select one of the highlight tool colors, it doesn't matter which one, before engaging with the question stem to begin working through this problem. So question one reads, which one of the following, if true, most weakens the argument? So we're being asked to find something that will weaken whatever the argument is on the left-hand side. So now we're going to read that prompt, and after reading the paragraph, we're going to highlight whatever the conclusion is. So starting from the top, the government's tax collection agency has not followed through on its plan announced a year ago to crack down on violations of corporate income tax law. Audits are the primary tool for detecting such violations, and over the past year, not a single audit of corporate income tax returns has been completed. Now, in order to identify a conclusion, you first want to eliminate from consideration any clear statements of empirical fact. And the idea that audits are the primary tool for detecting corporate tax violations and no single audit has been completed of any corporate income tax returns over the past year is an empirical fact that doesn't require any additional support. Which leads us to the conclusion that the conclusion is this first sentence, which is indeed the claim of the author. The government's tax collection agency has not followed through on its plan announced a year ago to crack down on violations of corporate income tax law. So we should have in mind this idea that just because not a single audit of corporate income tax returns has been completed doesn't mean that the government's tax collection agency hasn't followed through on this plan to crack down on corporate income tax violations. So we want to have that mental prediction before we go to the answer choices. And as we go to the answer choices, we keep that highlight tool selected so that we can identify and mark instances of answer choices being incorrect for definite reasons. So starting with choice A, the plan to crack down on violations of corporate income tax law is part of a broad campaign against corporate misconduct. Okay, a broad campaign. I know nothing about this campaign. Is this campaign overall being successful? I don't know. This introduces a whole bunch of questions that need additional information in order to apply this answer choice definitively to that conclusion. So when we need additional information, we can eliminate choice A. Next, choice B. The number of personal income tax returns audited over the past year is greater than in previous years. Well, this is a classic term shift. We are not concerned with personal income tax returns when we're talking about corporate income tax law. So we can eliminate choice B for that reason. Next, we have choice C. Most audits of corporate income tax returns do not reveal any significant violations. Well, we want to think about this from a quantitative perspective, but just saying that most don't reveal any significant violations does not provide anything to help evaluate whether the tax collection agency is, in fact, actually beginning to crack down. So just the fact that 51% might not have any violations has no clear impact on the validity of this conclusion. So we can eliminate choice C as being basically no impact either way. And next, choice D, it generally takes longer than 1 year to complete an audit of a corporate income tax return. And we know that everything was predicated on this idea that over the past year, not a single audit has been completed. Well, if it takes longer than 1 year to complete an audit of one of these corporate income tax returns, well, that explains why this isn't a lack of follow through. It just takes more time than has been allowed to elapse. So choice D definitely is a way to weaken this argument. Now with choice E, just for completion's sake, we read over the last 5 years, and on the exam, as soon as I see 5 years ago, we're talking about 1 year. 5 years is going to require additional information. We use that reason to eliminate E. And of course, choice D is the correct answer that does weaken this claim.